What's up, everyone? All right, well, here we are. It is Friday, and I am finishing my 27th consecutive green day. Can you believe it? 27 days in a row. I can't believe it. I mean, it's been pretty incredible, but the market has been hot. Today was a little slower, Wildcard Friday, which is what I call Fridays, because sometimes Fridays, they're kind of hit or miss. We either have crazy momentum or we have like nothing. And if you think about it, most stocks, they're not going to put out a whole lot of headlines on a Friday. You know, what kind of news do you give people on a Friday? You give them bad news, so over the weekend they forget about it, and come Monday morning, it's water under the bridge. So Friday is not really the time that we typically expect to see any type of big news come out of most companies, and that did seem to be the case again today. Although we did have a little bit of action on F-Tech, right out of the gate. That was the one that I traded, and we had a nice squeeze on it from, what was it, about $1.23, $24? Ooh, they're hungry. Up to a high of around $1.49, $1.50. They know what time it is. Just like me, pre-market. What am I looking for? A couple of gappers. 1, 2. This one should be up 10%, 20%, 30%. Go on, bud. That yellow one there, his name's Rafi. Abe is the one right there with the big kind of orange spot. That's Romeo. He's got a heart on his head, and he wears his heart on his head. He's a romantic. There he is. And this is sometimes what trading is like. It's like the way these fish are kind of jumping here. When all of a sudden a stock is hot, it's like everyone is trying to get a piece of the action, and then people get spooked, and all of a sudden everyone runs away and they're out of here, and then they come back. It's learning how to ride those waves of fear and greed, because the market, not to be too kind of out there, but it's a reflection in a lot of ways of our human kind of emotions and attitudes, the fear, the greed. Look at the huge drop we had, 35% drop, and then what happens off the low? Market pops back up 30%. I mean, we're back down right now, still just around the 200 moving average on the S&P, but it's actually holding up pretty well. So anyways, couple things. Number one, I want to wish a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. You guys are the true warriors, and those of you who are mothers and day traders, good for you. It's an unbelievable amount of work. And I also want to remind you guys that we're ending our anniversary sale. The coupon code PARTY40. PARTY40 will save you 40% on the Warrior Starter class or the Warrior Pro course, and that coupon code is ending. This anniversary sale that we've run has been to celebrate the 5-year anniversary from when I uploaded How to Day Trade on YouTube, and that was right when I published my book, How to Day Trade. So we've been celebrating this anniversary, but the sale is coming to an end. So make sure you use those coupon codes, PARTY40, whether it's on the starter or the pro, and get into the classes. So during the recap here today, we're going to break down the couple of stocks I traded. It wasn't the biggest green day of the week by any means. I kind of, I did okay. It's a green day, but the momentum was definitely a little bit, it was just a little bit slower. So that's typical of Friday. And that's the thing, kind of like the fish. Because a lot of Fridays there's nothing, it's just slow. But the Friday that all of a sudden there is a stock that pops up, everyone jumps to it. It's like, that's the feeding frenzy. This is our one opportunity to get a big win today. And all of a sudden, that's when on a Friday you'll see some really awesome action. We just didn't really have it today. F-Tech, although it gave a nice trade out of the gates from $1.23 up to $1.50, realistically, it's only 25 cents. Granted, it's a low price stock, so it's a big percentage move, but in total cents per share, it's not huge. So yeah, we did the best we could, and over the weekend, I hope you guys spend a little time studying up, because what we'll end up doing on Monday will probably be watching that gap scanner, looking for those 1 or 2 stocks that are looking really good and trying to capitalize on that Momo. The hot streak is not over yet. All right, you guys, so that's it for me. I hope you have an awesome weekend. Happy Mother's Day for the mothers. Use that coupon code PARTY40, and I'll see you right back here first thing Monday morning. And if I go live over the weekend, don't forget to tune in. You may see the notification, so I might see some of you guys over the weekend. All right, bye everyone. Enjoy the recap. What's up, everyone? All right, so we're gonna do midday market recap here. I'm gonna finish the morning up $616.57, which is a small green day, but it is my 27th consecutive green day. So I'm really, at this point, because I'm not feeling that the momentum is as strong today as it's been on other days during the week, that it's a good time just to walk away. I had 2 red trades, actually 3 red trades in a row. So that, well, maybe it wasn't 3. I think I had 2. No, I guess I did have 3 red trades in a row. So that I have to stop regardless. So my first trade right out of the gates was the best one, F-Tech, $1,700. And actually I made closer to 2,000 on it, I would imagine, because I had 2 losses on it from trying to buy dips. So this was a long right out of the gates right here. And the pre-market high was 23. So I bought the break of the pre-market high within the first minute of the bell ringing. It squeezed up to a high of 35 and was halted. It then opened higher and tapped 49 before pulling back, which was about 25 cents a share. So a really nice 25-cent per share trade on F-Tech. It then pulled back. It actually halted going down, and I tried to buy the dip down here. I actually tried to buy right here at 25, thinking that if it broke this top, we might squeeze back up to 35 or 40. What ended up happening was it hit 28 and then tanked. And so on that trade, I lost probably $500. Then I tried one more stab at it down here for a dip. It popped up for a second and then stopped me out again. So I could have, both of these could have been tiny winners, but I was holding for a bigger move and it just didn't really work. So I gave back a little profit on F-Tech, but I knew I was in good shape because I had one really good trade right out of the gates. And then the second stock that I was trading right out of the gates was VUZI, which had news that came out right around 9:16 a.m. And so I bought this at about 285 to anticipate the squeeze up to 3. It taps 3 and 308, but then I get back in for this first candle to make a new high, false breakout, and I gave back a little bit of my profit. It comes back up for a second attempt. I did get back in, but notice these topping tails. It tapped 305 and pulled back. And then it tapped 306 and pulled back. And so that ended up being a small loser as well. And I'm actually down, actually I'm up $316 or $336 on it. So I guess that's not bad, but it was a little choppy. So that was VUZI. It did have a flush down here, which I did take a dip trade on, but it really didn't. I mean, you could see it bounced up for a second, but it really didn't bounce up that much. The next trade was PTGX, and this was my worst trade of the day. Ironically, it's coming back up now, but my first trade was with 200 shares coming out of this halt at 1350, and I sold as it broke over 14. So small size, nice pop. It then drops down here, and I bought another 250 shares as it dropped. It then kept dropping. I added more size, and then I was holding into a halt going down. I never like to have that happen. So I was trying to take a dip trade, and it kept dipping. It resumed from the halt, started to pop back up, and I added and then sold right here, but for a loss of $551. Now it's back up to 1362 and halted again. And I think, again, the lesson here, number one, this was a little outside my price range. Thank goodness I was trading with smaller share size, but it was a little outside my price range, number one, and it was very light on volume, number two.
And I think those two things made it a little harder to trust. The next one was MRAM. And this is the one that I'm the most read on. So my first trade, I tried to do a micro pullback right here at 40, where I got in at like 36. It tapped 45 and then flushed down. And I stopped out basically break even on it. Only a small loss. So I was like, all right, well, that's not perfect, but I'll try again. It pulls back here to the VWAP. I didn't really feel comfortable buying the dip on it because it was choppy. And it came back up, and so I got back in right here for the break over 40. And then again, a second false breakout, and it dropped down. And on this one, I knew I had just had the loss on PTGX. And I knew I had given back a little profit on FTech. And I said to myself, should I try to add on this dip, or should I just cut the loss? And I said, you know what? I think you should just cut the loss. I don't feel like I'm having a really good day. And I feel like if I add, I'm going to potentially turn a small loss into a big loss. So I cut the loss, and I guess it was almost $900 because the previous trade was basically break even. So it's kind of disappointing today that I didn't have as much follow through, but that's not unusual of Fridays. We call Fridays Wildcard Fridays because sometimes we have some crazy moves on Fridays, but most Fridays are kind of slow. So because they're slow, a lot of times people just say, oh, I'll take a look, but if I don't see anything, maybe I'll just go do something else for the day. And then they later find out that a stock went up 400%. Wildcard Friday. And they're like, no, I missed it. So I always trade on Fridays, but I keep in mind that my expectations are low. Now, right now, it would be easy for me to feel like, man, I was up over 2,000 on FTech on a trade right off the watch list. And then, I took these other trades off the momentum scanner and ended up giving back my, most of my profit. What the heck? I should have stopped, so I could feel bad about myself. On the other hand, I'm walking away right now, less than an hour of trading, with an extra $600. Now, that's not much compared to 11,000 yesterday. If I do the past back to April 1st, I've been on a nice hot streak. But in this hot streak, I've had a couple of slow days. And this is going to be actually, I guess, the second slowest after the 8th back here. And I don't know, was that a Friday? I mean, it might have been. I have to check my calendar. Let's see. Let's just double check it. April 8th was actually it was a Wednesday. So, anyways, but I feel like I didn't quite hit my goal today, and I pushed my luck a little bit. Today wasn't a very good day to be doing dip trades, and I think that's because we didn't have a really strong momentum stock. Now, I could have taken some dip trades on MRAM, but by the time I was looking at this, I really didn't have a cushion. And taking those dip trades carries a little more risk. So without the cushion, I didn't feel comfortable doing it. So that's the way it goes sometimes. And if you can have a day that is sort of a not great day, but still finish in the green, it means, number one, you're walking away at the right time. Because I really think that right now, and I see some of you guys talking about other stocks that you're looking at and stuff like that, I think right now, if I kept trading, just like that, I could go into the red. I mean, one loss down $600, I'd go in the red. And then I'm going to be, well, of course, now I know where I'm at. So if I knew I'd gone red, I'd feel really, really frustrated with myself. And then I would probably try to keep trading until I get myself back to green. And I actually sort of thought that on PTGX. I was like, if this ends up being a big loss, I'm probably going to have to spend the rest of the morning trying to find small little $100, $200 winners just to scrape some profit off the bottom. So at least I can preserve my green streak, which I'm glad I didn't have to do, because I really don't like having to overtrade just to try to do that, because it's not a good idea. It's not something I should do. So anyways, I probably should have walked away before that last trade on MRAM, and I was sort of like, I don't know if I should take this. But then I saw all those buyers, high volume on that candle, 400,000 shares in that 1 minute candle. And so I stepped up and I punched it for 3,000 shares, 1,500, and then another 1,500. At least I went with smaller size relative to like going with full 6,000 shares. And then, boom, in this candle, I'm like, God dang it. And I thought, okay, well, it's coming back down to support at 5. I could just add another 3,000 down here at 5. That's a dip trade. It'll bring my cost basis down to 520, and if it pops back up, I can get out break even. And what would have happened? Now with 6,000 shares, I would have ended up losing from 520 down to 480. That's 40 cents. That's a $2,400 loss. So now I've multiplied the loss times 3, basically. And so I'm glad I made the decision not to do that. Today wasn't the day to do that. Now, on a day where momentum is really strong, the market's really hot, that may work just fine. It's better to probably cut the loss and then get back in for the dip trade than to average down. But in any case, that might work in a stronger market. But today, the momentum was just a little, just not as strong. And I think the reason for it, in terms of how can we predict a day when the market will be strong or weak, FTech was our leading gapper. And we got a great trade on it right out of the gates, but it didn't hold up. And because it didn't hold up, traders didn't have this exuberance and this excitement and this, drive to try to find the next one. The leading gapper failed, and I think that kind of is like, it just sort of sets the tone for the day a little bit, especially when it fails this early. Now, if this had done a red to green move and squeezed back up, then maybe we would have seen more momentum across the board, but with it being as weak as it's been, we haven't. So, although today won't contribute much in the way of profits, since my last red day, I've had gross profit of about $130,000. And let's go here, to May 1st. And on the month, gross profit is $37,000. Accuracy is 80%. Today, gosh, I don't know. Today my accuracy felt more like 50%. It didn't feel quite as strong, but I didn't think my accuracy yesterday was as good, and it was still 80%. So I could just be, I don't know. I had, let's see, we could just break it down. So I had one really good trade on FTech. I had on VUZI, I had like 3 trades on that, and they were small winners. So let's just say that's 4 small winners. PTGX was 1 trade and 1 loss. And MRAM was 2 trades and 2 losses. So that's 6 trades roughly. And I was green on, I think, 4 out of the 6. So, it's lower than I'd like, but it's not terrible. And hey, I'm green, that's the thing. If you can manage your risk well and can cut your losses quickly, then you can do okay. But that sort of momentary decision of, do I cut it or do I hold? And I held MRAM a little longer, and then finally I said, all right, I got to cut it. So I let that loss get a little bit bigger. I was trying to give it room to come back up, but it didn't happen. So anyways, you got to know when to walk away, whether you're red on the day or green on the day, and this is my spot to walk away. This is probably the first day of the week that I've given back a decent amount of profit on the day, but this is where I sit on the week. So I guess 12 grand plus 8 is 20, 26, 27, 28,000 on the week. Hey, if I can do that for the next 4 weeks, even if I still have bad Fridays and make only $600, that will be a fantastic month. That would be a $100,000 month. I mean, I'm not going to get my hopes up for the 100K month, but this is a great start. And let's see how did I do the first? Let's see, how did I do the first 5 days of April? So detailed here, 37,000. First 5 days of April. So April to let's see, April 1st. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first 5 days of April, oh my, wow, that's pathetic. I've really outdone myself here. So only 8,400 in the first 8 days of April, or first 5 trading days, whereas here I'm at 37,000. So again, it's relative to the fact that sometimes You might have 4 or 5 days in a row that are like today. And when that's the case, you are going to be grinding on smaller numbers, right? 1,000, 1,100, 1,400, 350, just sometimes it's like that. And then all of a sudden you have a week where everything is ripping and the market is super hot and it's like 5, 5, 11, 6, back to back to back to back. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'm happy with where I'm finishing the week. I would have liked a little bit of a bigger Friday. And F-Tech, as I jumped into it, I was looking for that to squeeze over the $0.50 of $1.50, and I was looking to add. Next halt level was 52, and if that had halted a second time going up, I think we would have seen 65.70, and this would have been a $4,000 or $5,000 day. We just didn't end up getting that follow through. So, that's the way it goes. I'll be back at it on Monday. Study up, all right? So you guys watch those live trading archives, go through the classes, Warrior Starter students, Warrior Pro students, and we're going to jump over here right now at 10:30 and do Q&A for the next hour and a half in the Warrior Pro room. So jump over to the Warrior Pro room, all you Warrior Pro students, and we'll do some Q&A, and I'll show you the live trades today as they happened. So if you want to watch me in real time lose $896 on that last trade on MRAM or that PTGX trade, you can see it right through here on that false breakout. So we're going to break all that down in the Warrior Pro session. I'll see you guys in just a minute. All right, everyone else, I'll see you first thing on Monday morning. And those who didn't watch my April in review, I did it as a live on YouTube on Saturday. So go back and check that April in review. It was a review of all my April metrics. Okay, that's it for me. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone. Hey, it's me again. The most popular video on day trading on YouTube was made by me. You can check it out below if you haven't already. And as always, if you have questions, leave them in the comments. I personally respond to every question that's posted on my channel.